it's great. It's great to know that you're the youngest. Your name is gonna be in the book records.
Alex Eala, that's been a talk, and which is understandable. There's some players coming from respective countries like.
The unified front is now impossible to ignore. Novak Djokovic and Carlos Alcaraz have officially launched a boycott against ABC, as the tennis world rallies behind Alex Eala with one powerful message: respect our athletes or lose us forever. The media landscape has just been shaken by an earthquake of massive proportions, and the shockwaves are being felt from the blazing courts of the ATP Tour all the way into the executive boardrooms of major television networks. What began as a leaked script has now exploded into a raging controversy that threatens to bring down one of daytime television's longest-running and most influential shows. If you thought athletes had already pushed back against the media before, if you believed you had seen stars challenge the media machine, then get ready, because the rules of the game have officially changed. The hunters have suddenly become the hunted, and the elite of the tennis world are showing absolutely no mercy. Not today. Not ever again. Grab your popcorn, settle in, and get ready, because today we're breaking down a historic and unprecedented move that has sent shockwaves across both the sports and entertainment industries at the same time. We're talking about a complete and uncompromising network-wide boycott of ABC and The View, led by none other than the 24-time Grand Slam champion and Serbian powerhouse Novak Djokovic, alongside the reigning clay court superstar and one of the brightest faces of modern tennis, Carlos Alcaraz. And the reason behind this dramatic reaction is the blatant, calculated, and deeply disrespectful treatment of the 20-year-old rising tennis star Alex Eala. Make no mistake about what this moment represents. This isn't just a warning or a minor response. It's not a passive-aggressive tweet or a carefully written statement from a public relations team. This is a coordinated and full-scale shutdown of access. The message being sent to every television executive across America is crystal clear and impossible to ignore: respect our athletes or lose us forever.
Love tennis and appreciate the players and the effort that the players put in here. I played in much more hostile environment, trust me. You guys can't touch me.
To truly understand the scale of this massive fallout, and why the most powerful players across the ATP and WTA tours are collectively drawing a line that no one is willing to cross, we have to go back to the moment that sparked this entire controversy. To understand the reaction now shaking the tennis world, we need to revisit the infamous leaked script that changed everything. For those who may have missed the early rumors and quiet discussions spreading through the sports media world, let's break it down clearly. Insider reports and industry leaks recently revealed a deeply troubling narrative that was allegedly being planned behind the scenes at The View. According to multiple credible sources, producers were reportedly preparing a segment specifically designed to catch Alex Eala off guard, disguising what insiders described as a targeted personal attack as nothing more than a normal daytime television interview. Think about that for a moment. A major network, with its full team of writers, producers, and enormous platform, allegedly decided that their best strategy was to invite a young, hard-working, and humble 20-year-old Filipina tennis player onto their stage and use her as a pawn for ratings and manufactured viral controversy. Instead of seeing one of the sport's brightest rising talents, they allegedly viewed her as nothing more than content. What they failed to recognize was who they were dealing with and the kind of reaction such disrespect would provoke. As one veteran sports analyst said shortly after the story exploded across social media, they forgot she has an army of kings standing right behind her. The confidence of television executives seemed to blind them to one simple but undeniable truth about modern professional tennis: the locker room is more united than ever before. These players have trained together, traveled the world together, and competed against each other under the most demanding conditions imaginable. Through those experiences, they have formed real bonds that go far beyond competition. When someone targets one of their own, especially a young athlete who has worked tirelessly to represent her country on the global stage, it doesn't feel like criticism of one individual. It feels like an attack on the entire sport. And the sport, as it turns out, is more than ready to respond. Enter Novak Djokovic. If there is one quality the Serbian legend is known for outside his incredible flexibility, unmatched mental toughness, and record-breaking trophy collection, it is his fierce and unwavering support for fellow players. This isn't a personality trait created for publicity. It's a defining part of who he is. As the founder of the Professional Tennis Players Association, Djokovic has spent years challenging the tennis establishment, often putting his own reputation and career at risk in order to fight for fair treatment, proper compensation, and greater protection for players at every level of the sport. Over the years he has confronted governing bodies, tournament organizers, and now, perhaps most dramatically, a major American television network. When the reports about the alleged ambush script first reached his camp, the response was reportedly immediate, strategic, and decisive. Djokovic, never one to avoid confrontation when the dignity of players is involved, reportedly made his position perfectly clear to those around him. According to sources close to the situation, he expressed deep frustration with networks that attempt to manipulate narratives, manufacture controversy, and exploit athletes for ratings while avoiding accountability. His message was simple but powerful. If a network refuses to respect Alex Eala, then it is refusing to respect the sport of tennis itself.
Alex Eala, that's been a talk, which is understandable. There's some players coming from respective countries, like she's coming from.
And if a network refuses to respect the sport of tennis, then it does not deserve even a single second of access to the athletes who define it. Just like that, Novak Djokovic closed the door on one of the most powerful television networks in the United States, ABC. No exclusive interviews, no morning show appearances after major tournament victories, no behind-the-scenes coverage of training sessions or press conferences, no casual sit-downs, nothing. It was a complete and unconditional blackout. But for ABC, the crisis was only beginning. Standing beside the greatest champion of the modern era was the undisputed face of tennis's future, Carlos Alcaraz. The young superstar, often described as a smiling assassin on the court, immediately followed Djokovic's lead. Alcaraz is more than just a talented player. He has become a global cultural phenomenon. His exciting style of play and charismatic personality have inspired millions of fans across Europe, Latin America, Asia, and beyond to fall in love with tennis all over again. He represents the new generation of the sport, the youth movement that is shaping tennis's future. And perhaps more than anyone else on tour, he understands the immense pressure that comes with global expectations at such a young age. Alcaraz stepped into the international spotlight while still a teenager, learning to navigate the challenges of worldwide fame while continuing to grow as both an athlete and a person. So when he saw a fellow young player like Alex Eala allegedly being targeted by media executives looking for controversy and ratings, it struck a deeply personal chord. Alcaraz responded publicly on social media with a message that quickly spread across the sports world. He posted a powerful image of an empty tennis court at twilight accompanied by a simple but striking caption, "Integrity is not for sale. We stand with Alex." That message immediately ignited a massive reaction. Fans, fellow athletes, commentators, and journalists responded within minutes, turning the phrase, "Stand with Alex," into a rallying cry throughout the tennis community. The reason this alliance between Djokovic and Alcaraz is such a devastating blow for any network becomes obvious when you look at what each player represents individually. When you lose Novak Djokovic, you lose the history, the legacy, and the prestige of covering one of the greatest champions the sport has ever seen. His career has defined an entire era of tennis. But when you lose Carlos Alcaraz, you lose something just as valuable to modern broadcasters, the future. You lose the viral highlights, the electric moments that dominate social media, and the young global audience that follows him everywhere he plays. Losing one of them would be a serious problem for any network. Losing both of them at the same time, united behind the same cause, creates the kind of public relations crisis that can shake an entire organization. Their unified stand has reportedly left the network's communications teams scrambling for answers while the pressure continues to build. And this brings us to an important question. Why has Alex Eala inspired such powerful support from the biggest names in professional tennis? The answer is simple. It is not sympathy. It is not charity. It is respect. Eala has earned genuine admiration across the tennis world through relentless work, discipline, and professionalism. She is not just another competitor on the tour. She represents something much bigger. As one of the most prominent athletes from the Philippines, she carries the hopes and dreams of more than 100 million people every time she steps onto the court. And she handles that responsibility with remarkable composure and maturity. Over the past year alone, Eala has built a resume that has captured global attention. She secured her first WTA title, a milestone that sparked celebration throughout her home country. She has represented the Philippines proudly in international competition and delivered thrilling comeback victories that have captivated fans around the world. Off the court, she has also become a rising global figure, signing major endorsement partnerships and building a reputation not only as a talented athlete but also as a humble and gracious ambassador for the sport. Those who know her personally and professionally often describe her with the same words: hardworking, respectful, and genuinely kind. That is why the reports of a planned segment designed to embarrass or undermine her sparked such a strong reaction across the tennis community. To many players, it was not just a questionable editorial decision, it felt like a fundamental violation of respect. And that realization triggered something even larger. If a major media platform could allegedly plan an attack on an athlete who is widely admired and respected, many players began asking a simple question: who would be next? The boycott, therefore, became about more than just defending Alex Eala. It became about establishing a boundary for the entire sport. Professional athletes are not props. They are not disposable content for ratings. And they are not obligated to provide access to platforms that treat them without dignity. According to reports circulating within sports media circles, representatives connected to both Djokovic and Alcaraz have already delivered a formal notice to the leadership at ABC outlining their position. The message was reportedly direct and uncompromising: until a full public apology is issued to Alex Eala, and until accountability is taken by those responsible for the situation, the boycott will remain in place. No private negotiations. No quiet back-channel arrangements. The stance is simple: do the right thing, or remain cut off from access. And the timing could not be more significant. As the tennis calendar moves toward the North American hardcourt season and the build-up to the US Open, media outlets are usually eager to secure interviews and appearances from the sport's biggest stars. But if the boycott continues, those opportunities could vanish. Morning shows, studio programs, and sports segments that traditionally rely on interviews with top players may suddenly find themselves without the access they once took for granted. What began as an alleged attempt to generate controversy could ultimately result in a much larger reputational crisis. And the ripple effects are already spreading. Reports suggest that additional top players from both the ATP and WTA tours are quietly choosing to support the boycott as well. The sense of unity inside professional tennis has rarely been stronger. Players who normally compete fiercely against one another are standing together on this issue, emphasizing that respect for athletes must come first. This show of solidarity has even begun drawing attention from athletes in other sports: basketball, golf, football, and soccer, who are closely watching how this situation unfolds. Because at its core, the story raises a much bigger question about the relationship between athletes and the media platforms that cover them. And right now, two of the most recognizable figures in global sports, Novak Djokovic and Carlos Alcaraz, have made their position unmistakably clear. They stand with Alex Eala. As for Eala herself, her response has been remarkable in its quiet strength. She has not needed to launch public campaigns or fight this battle alone. Her reputation, her work ethic, and the respect she has earned within the tennis community have spoken louder than any statement. In many ways, the support surrounding her has become one of the most powerful endorsements a young athlete could ever receive. Instead of weakening her standing in the sport, the controversy has only amplified it. And now the spotlight shifts back to ABC. The question facing the network is simple but critical. Will it address the situation directly and repair the relationship with the tennis world, or will it hope the story fades away? For fans around the globe, the conversation is far from over. So now the discussion turns to you. Do you believe the network will issue the apology being demanded? Will this moment inspire athletes in other sports to draw firmer boundaries with media organizations? And most importantly, do you support Alex Eala in this situation?